what I'm looking to do is to use game currency to actually make that into a digital native. Um, so not just like an afterthought. Like even Bitcoin and Ripple, all these things have been unregulated, right? They've been like or not regulated at all, and then they've been making them regulated. And it's always hard to unscramble an egg, right? When something is not regulated, to make it regulated is much harder than to make it regulated from the beginning. So I think there's a great opportunity here to take game currency as that first digital native asset class, because has as a passionate user base. It's a new asset class, which means that we don't have to worry about impacting existing rails, like because it's new. And yeah, there's just so much in there.
Can you explain, to somebody that's not familiar, maybe they're not as familiar with games and stuff, or they're just kind of casual. They're casual. what what is game currency? What are we
Oh,
talking
absolutely.
about?
No, you can't cash out.
No, you
Well, you
say
can't
it, you
cash
just
out,
use it. It's portable.
yeah, it's portable. Here's like, hey, listen, it's like telling you you can spend $80 on a new Switch 2 game, right? It's a
Mhm.
thing about the value proposition. $80 on a new Switch 2 game. You can play that for how many long you want, and I guess there's a resale value to that game as well. But the resale value drops after the first, just like a car, right? No one's
Right.
spending top dollar, after you spend 6 months or whatever playing it for a year. So there is you do recover some of that money, but it is a big outlay, right? You have to spend all the money at once too. You don't know if the game's even fun. Here,
Right.
what I'm saying, the value proposition is, play a game for free. Play a game for free for as long as you want, no problem. Like we'll give you that. And then once you want to play the game for money, right? You can spend money, and if you ever get bored, you can then take the money and go to another game and play another game. So
Hi, I'm Matt Levenhagen, founder of Unified Web Design, Unified Plugins, and your host of the Builders Podcast. Here on the Builders, our goal is to uncover the first principles behind building businesses, products, and services. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe or follow wherever you're listening. And if you find value in our content, a like, share, or review is always appreciated. Let's dive in and explore the roots of innovation and progress together. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another The Builders. Today, we are joined by Yaakov Sash. Welcome to the show.
oh, it's a pleasure to be here, Matt.
So, Yaakov is the founder and CEO of a company called Novospir. And what do you guys do over at Novospir? I'm just going to throw it to you. It's easier that way.
Sure, no problem. So we're doing so the first thing we're doing is that we reinvented or reimagined game currency, because that's the foundation of all games. And but as a connection to that, we're also reimagining the actual games, because today there's a certain types of games that people play, but because of the monetization constraints, there's certain restrictions that the games have, um, and we're freeing that up. So we're making this is something that we're doing for game publishers, right? We're going to have our own games, but the intention here is our games is more experimental for us to demonstrate how these new types of game currency will work. At the same time, we're making new types of games that could not have been imagined beforehand. Because if you can't monetize something, then you can't build it. That's just reality, right? It has to be
Yeah.
an economic basis for something. So we're doing that, and yeah, we're making games more social and more and larger. So we're making massively multiplayer games as well. So and making games more fun. So it's a lot, but it's exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about games, which is, I love games. I always have. In fact, I've had various addictions over the years. I was even for a few years, I was a World of Warcraft nerd, where I lived, breathed, and slept and rated it. and but I've also done the count. Before that, it was console, and since then, though, these days I don't have much time for games. So when Like we talked previous to this when we did the pre-interview, we were like they're talking about the time related element where it's like we don't have, especially if you're running a business, you got a career, you got all this stuff, you get a you don't have time to sink dozens of hours just to level a character to get to the actual game. But so like today I probably play more mobile games and games, even like solitaire or something, just, something to do for 5 minutes. Boom. But I love games. I'm a huge nerd. So this is going to be a fun conversation for me.
Yeah, no,
And hopefully for the audience.
yeah. I mean, you definitely touched on a few great points. And I don't want to dig in too quickly, but it just, games is more than just. So yeah, there's the type of games that we play when we're kids and teens that just take over our lives, and
Yep.
even early adulthood before you have a larger family or more responsibility, you can just go days playing a game and just be
Yeah.
fully in that world.
Weeks.
Yes, weeks,
Months.
months, and just be completely, and that's great. And there's
Yeah.
huge value there, and we are targeting that audience as well because we feel that game publishers, for the AAA game studios like the World of Warcraft, and those games have such a dedicated fan base, loyal fan base, like that they would actually want to have a game currency that they can invest in, like to unlock all that immense value in those gaming franchises, because there you have so much passion and just love for that game.
Right.
So that's something that we want to do as well. But also games, there's so much of a full spectrum there because games is, not just about the game. Game could be about the conversation you're having while you're having the game. And that's
Mm.
sometimes more important. Like, do we have games that facilitate conversation? And that's, if you think about it like that, like what's the non-digital analogous? So that is, you're playing, if you're shooting hoops with your friends, with your dad, you know, you don't want to have a formal conversation with a friend. Those are awkward, right? Those are like,
Right.
but what if we can facilitate conversations where you're shooting hoops, right? It's not the game itself, right? But it's what you're talking while you're having those games.
All right.
And you
It's
need and
like
you need the white noise. You need that activity to keep you distracted from the intensity of the conversation.
100%. Yeah. And well, I'm a golfer, so I like to, get on a golf course and you're playing this game, but you're also having either business or personal conversations or just, while you're playing the game, while you're walking down the fairway and onto the next hole or whatever, you're or waiting for the people in front of you to get done. You're having great conversations, and the same even going World of Warcraft. And, I'm a little bit of an introvert. Like I like to play solo games, and I'm not sometimes I just like to play a game, and but obviously that's a multiplayer game. And when we were, you belong to a guild, you become a little community. You're trying to destroy the next boss, and I'm in there tanking. I got the team around me, but we're having those conversations too. There's a kind of community and that element. These guys become friends, and you literally go to war together in these games. And so, I mean, that's a huge element
Right,
that
right.
kind of, yeah,
Yeah, we are targeting single player games as well. I mean, we love
yeah,
social because we feel that no one's doing social well. You have Fortnite, you have games like that, but those are very
right,
violent. Not everyone wants to be shooting at each other.
right,
It's like, yeah, some people do, and that's no judgment there. It's fun. It's obviously it's not real. Um, and this most for the most part is cartoon violence, but
yeah,
um, and then obviously even if it's really violent, that's for adults and for different,
right,
it's they're not targeting for kids, but even a lot of adults don't necessarily want to play a violent game. They want to have a social game where it's a puzzle game, it's a strategy game. Like where are the board games? Right? Where are the Settlers of Catan that I want to play with my family? Now, yeah, you can take Settlers of Catan and make it an online version of it, right? Obviously, but the mechanics change because you don't want turn-based. Turn-based everything takes much longer. No one has patience. This is the TikTok generation, right? We
Yeah.
have 15 seconds, like that's it, and
Yeah.
you want to play a quick game there. But getting back to single player, what's interesting the is that the game publishers, have a certain type, especially on mobile, like less than 5% of the people actually pay. So it's all freemium, and there's a lot of um, churning, and a lot of psychological manipulations for the player to spend money, and yet only less than 5% of the people spend money. And then you
Don't
have
they
games
could
like, sorry,
don't
go
they
on.
call them don't they call them whales or something?
Yes,
Like,
yes,
yeah,
exactly. And
yeah,
then you have games like Candy Crush that are making billions when less than, I think even maybe closer to less than 1%
yeah.
in
It's
some
crazy.
games. It's crazy, and they're supporting everyone. What's crazy here is that game publishers are actually leaving money on the table because they're not monetizing properly. And I solved that problem. So I solved the problem of allowing game publishers to monetize for free gameplay, which they cannot do today. So we're doing a lot of exciting things, and all this is actually patent pending. Um, so it is something that I'm bringing immense value to the
Yeah.
game publishing industry at the full spectrum of games.
So I knew this was going to happen because I get excited about games. So like usually,
Yeah,
usually we start by talking about your journey, your background,
I
how
know. Then we hit the
how you
back.
end up.
Yeah,
I'm not going to get to. I'm going to stop us right now, and
sure.
we'll pivot to that for a minute, or a
Yeah,
few minutes. Yeah, just why don't you give us a little bit of background?
sure.
When did you fall in love with games? I think that was when you were real young. And then where did the journey take you in life, and how did you land back into the gaming world
Sure.
doing stuff? Yeah.
Absolutely. So I actually started young. I was 10 years old, and I games were actually getting to the price point that they are now. Like games at one point were actually quite expensive. I think like these were the classic games like Pac-Man, Donkey Kong. You wanted to buy it, you had to buy a cartridge. It was
Yeah.
between $40 and $60. It wasn't cheap. Like you spent $99 on the console, but the games were like they're probably losing money there on the console because they knew that you would have to spend money on the game. And my dad could only afford one game, either Pac-Man or Donkey Kong. And my brothers outvoted me. They went for Donkey Kong. I want the Pac-Man. And, I said, for me, it was like, for some reason, I was always obsessed with computers. I was a big sci-fi geek from a young age. And I even before, I just knew that I can program on a computer. I don't know how I knew this. I just knew this. And I was like, fine, I'll just write it myself. I was like, I don't know
Oh,
where this
nice.
came from. This is, pre-internet, and
Right.
I had to get books. I went to use bookstores to get books on programming, and yeah, I wrote my own game,
Did
and it
you
was a lot of fun.
what language did you use when
So
you
then
did?
it was all basic. Basic
Oh,
was
so basic. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I played
It
around with that
wasn't
a little
even
bit.
visual basic. It was just plain basic.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun, and I just fell in love with computers and programming. And then as I got older, as a teen, I used to write, a business. Like I couldn't get money, no one to pay money to play my games, but they're willing to do business applications. So I would write
Hmm.
business applications, and that's how I could make money. Like instead of waitering, like my friends were getting waiter jobs, I was getting programming jobs, and I was working for small businesses and writing, custom business code, and a lot of fun. And then I went to college for a computer science degree, and I got an opportunity to do consulting for Merrill Lynch um, for their first non-Bloomberg trading system because they had standardized on Bloomberg, and then they had to trade a new product in Latin America, which was not compatible with Bloomberg. So they needed to bring in someone, and somehow I got connected to that. They brought me
Wow.
in, as a
It
consultant.
got into some serious stuff.
Yeah, and this is I was making six figures before I even graduated college. I was
Wow.
pretty, yeah, it was pretty, and I was sitting on the trading floor, uh, building, trading systems, with the traders. It was it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And, in a way, trading is like gaming. It's like,
Right.
some people say that, that Wall Street is the world's largest legal casino, right? It's,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah, you can look
um,
at it that way. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
we did some really cool stuff, real-time risk and, P&L and L and all that fun stuff. And, once you get, so, I was, and I still live in New York. So when you're in New York, you know, in the 90s, that's what and you wanted to get a job, that's what you did. You went to work for the banks. Like that's what, you don't really have any .coms at those days. That's setting up shop in New York. So I did that and I had, a nice ride. I pretty much worked for all the world's largest banks, doing different things. You know, from your banks are obviously, there's lots of different things you can do in a bank. And I moved my way up. And in my last job at Credit Suisse, I was a head of digital asset markets technology, which is basically blockchain and crypto, but
Oh, wow.
from a banking perspective. So we're digitizing real world assets, and it was great. I was running a team, and we are doing a lot of great stuff. And
That
then
couldn't have been that. It couldn't have been that long ago.
it wasn't.
How
It
long ago?
wasn't. This is like probably like, well, this I started there like 7 years ago, but now
Okay.
it's probably 8 years ago. And then I started as a consultant, and then I worked my way up to be
Hmm.
head of the group. And then Chris has got into trouble, financial issues, and they got bought up at UBS. So I knew when you're in these, I've been in these other bank mergers before, so I knew what was going to come. I'm always very open with the acquiring company. I feel my value is who I am and my knowledge, and I never hide anything. So I gave them everything I knew and everything. And they were very happy to take all that. And, we transitioned after a year. They're like, thank you very much, Yaakov. And it's
See
time
you
to
later.
move on. So,
Yeah. Have a
yeah,
nice life. Yeah.
exactly. So, we did separate under, we did work out you know, what they call a package in these terms, because
Right.
obviously I was a director, I was a pretty senior position, um, and then there's a standard for these things. So we worked it out, and I said now is the time I want to go back to my passion, which was gaming, and digital, but also combining with digital assets, which has become my new passion. I just feel that there's just so much opportunity to make the traditional rails of of um, of the global financial system move in a much faster pace. And even now, we didn't get a taste of it. Like first with PayPal, like to move money instantly, and now with Zelle, it's like and these are the things that other countries have had for years, and we're finally catching up to that. But there's still so much restrictions with that, right? When
Hmm.
you can only send $2,000, you can't send $5,000 or 10,000. What if you're doing a big construction project or something and you need to move 20 or 30,000 or more? You can't do that. So, and that's a small thing, but we're dealing with with Wall Street, and with the amount of money that they have to move around is immense. So, and speed is definitely a factor there. So I did some really fun stuff there. And what I'm looking to do is to use game currency to actually make that into a digital native. Um, so not just like an afterthought. Like even Bitcoin and Ripple, all these things have been unregulated, right? They've been like, or not regulated at all, and then they've been making them regulated. And it's always hard to unscramble an egg, right? When something is not regulated, to make it regulated is much harder than to make it regulated from the beginning. So I think there's a great opportunity here to take game currency as that first digital native asset class, because has as a passionate user base, it's a new asset class, which means that we don't have to worry about impacting existing rails, like, because it's new. And yeah, there's just so much in there.
Can you explain, to somebody that's not familiar, maybe they're not as familiar with games and stuff, or they're just kind of casual. They're casual. what what is game currency? What are we
Oh,
talking about?
absolutely. Absolutely. So game currency is a fundamental metric of what you're using to play the game. And the easy way to think of it is like, is the gambling apps, right? Where you're playing poker, or you're playing, on with fake money. We're not talking about real money here. This is the fake money. So you come in and you want to play blackjack, on your phone. So there's a game currency there, right? You can buy that game currency, request it, whatever it is, and then you play with it. And then you win, you lose. And then that game currency, that's one way to think of it. Now, not every game has that exposed, right? And games
Mhm.
call it different things. They can call it rubies. They can call it, and games
Right,
try
right.
to obscure
And
what's going
they and
on
they
there. They
yeah,
don't
and they're
want you to
constantly pop ups like to
copy
buy
pasta,
more.
buy more. They're always trying to, like, it's very deceitful.
Yeah,
That's the psychology of the game publishers, and I'm not blaming them. I understand that they're a business, they need to make money, and there's human psychology, and they're trying to make things appeal to people. And they, like, games have the most data. Like, they know every little thing that goes on in that game, and they know exactly how to crank up and get a little bit more. If they, make the
sure.
ad a little bit bigger, they change the color to red. Like, they can increase revenue by 5%. Like, they know all those tricks. But so all this is there in games, but because of the way they're doing it, they actually purposely try to obscure it. My philosophy is don't obscure it. My philosophy
Hmm.
is we should put it front and center, make it clear, make people know. We're not saying that you have to spend money, but even if you're playing for free, there should be a more visible game currency. Like, you're playing for free, like, yeah, but you still have a game currency there. So that is a fundamental shift in how games need to be
So what do you
designed.
what do you mean what do you mean they're free and they're still a game currency?
So you
Like,
can get, so just like, think like this: you go into a casino, right? And let's say you're a newbie, you never played blackjack before, right? You never played poker before, and you want to play, right? But you're nervous, right? And so
yeah.
the casino said, you know what, we'll give you some fake poker chips, right?
Like you might get a daily amount or something, like 100 a
Exactly,
day or something.
exactly. It's a fake
Okay.
poker chip, but here's a crucial point: if you win, right, you don't win real money, obviously.
Right.
But the
Right.
other players on the table, you don't want to be embarrassed. Right? You don't want to be the newbie. So they'll give you fake poker chips. They'll know, like, your color, like, is like, that's the fake one, and they'll give you more
Okay.
of the fake. So you feel like you're a high roller. You feel like you're having that fun, and then once you're ready to pay the real money, then you go spend the real money, because now you feel like I can play. I'm smart. I know how to win at blackjack. And then, of course, you
Yeah.
lose because no one wins against the house.
Right. 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 So
Eventually, yeah, eventually you lose.
that's the idea. That's how they stay in business, right? That's how they make money. Um. So so you got the currencies. So what are you thinking in terms of how are you going to improve that specifically? Like, you said you're going to create an actual currency.
So it's
Is this
no, this is all
something that
virtual, right? So that's the thing. There are a few different things here. We are doing so. What we're doing is, at the beginning, more for indie developers, um, is this virtual game currency. Like, it's not a real game currency in the sense that you can invest in it, right? It's designed for players, that people
right?
can invest in it. Then we also are building in parallel this fully regulated game currency, but that's going to be more for AAA game studios that can unlock immense value. But these are going to be compatible in the sense of, you could start off, if you're an indie developer, you can start off at this virtual game currency, And then at some point, your game goes viral, and now you have millions of players, and then you can go to the regulated game currency as well. So there will be a pathway there. And we do, and
Hmm.
that's what's the beauty here is that we're not just targeting, one type of game publisher. We're targeting the entire market because we want to be with you for the entire journey.
Quick pause to give a shout out to the sponsors of the Builders Podcast, Unified Web Design and UnifiedLabs.ai. At Unified Web Design, we specialize in crafting custom websites and offering complete design and development solutions to help businesses build a strong, lasting online presence. Now, through UnifiedLabs.ai, a project I'm really excited about, we're helping businesses tap into the power of AI and automation, designing smarter systems, streamlining operations, and building practical tools that actually work. From audits to implementation, we help brands navigate the AI landscape with clarity and confidence. Whether you need a custom website or you're ready to explore how AI can transform your workflows, visit unifiedwebdesign.com and unifiedlabs.ai. Now back to our show. So I'm trying to understand what the difference is, though. Like right now, you can, let's say your currency is rubies.
Yeah. So one can't have investors, right? Because if you have a virtual game currency, there's no concept of investors. It's all virtual. It's not real money, right? So
Okay.
you need to have, but if you want investors, you need to be regulated. Or else you're crypto, and then you're basically doing rug pulls all day, which is not where I want to be, right?
Yeah.
That's a whole nother, a deceptive mess.
Is this something where you would have like a wallet or something, like a separate?
Yes.
Like
So
it's a currency you can use in different games. Like it just
yes,
doesn't have to be one game.
absolutely. The way that we're visioning this platform, which we're building now, is that each game has their own game currency, and then you will then and you will have portability between other games. But the game currency will rise and fall based on how well your game currency. If you get more players, then your game currency will go up automatically. But this is all automatic. There's no manipulation here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the value of that
The value
currency
of the
can
game currency
change.
goes up. So then the players who were early adopters will get more value for their games. But this is automatic. You can't cheat the system, which is
You
really
can't. Can you
nice.
cash out?
No, you can't cash out.
No.
Well, you can't
You
cash
just
out,
use it. It's portable.
yeah, it's portable. But here's like, hey, listen, it's like telling you can spend $80 on a new Switch 2 game, right? It's
Mhm.
a thing about the value proposition. $80 on a new Switch 2 game. You can play that for how many long you want, and I guess there is a resale value to that game as well. But the resale value drops after the first, just like a car, right? No one's
Right.
spending top dollar, after you spend 6 months or whatever playing it for a year. So there is you do recover some of that money, but it is a big outlay, right? You have to spend all the money at once too. You don't know if the game's even fun. Here,
Right.
what I'm saying, the value proposition is, play a game for free. Play a game for free for as long as you want, no problem. Like we'll give you that. And then once you want to play the game for money, right? You can spend money, and if you ever get bored, you can then take the money and go to another game and play another game. So there's less lock-in with my model, and it really, respects the player and the family, because here it's like, you one game is $80. You want to have three games, it goes up exponentially. You can't and then you have to resell it, and then that's a hassle too. And the players a lot of times don't want to sell their games because there's an emotional attachment to it. So you basically, it's just, no one's playing the game anymore, just sitting in your closet gathering dust. But effectively, it's there. Matt, did we lose you?
Sorry for the interruption. This part of the podcast was a little confusing because my connection got totally lost, and it took me about 15 minutes to come back online while he waited for me patiently, which was amazing. So this is me picking back up and coming back online, surprisingly. Ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, we just had a little technical glitch. I got booted somehow. My internet or something disconnected us, but we're back, and we're going to try to pick up where we left off. I'm going to get, because I don't know what I missed. So, so kind of recap what you were talking about, and then we'll go from
Yeah.
there.
So game currency is the lifeblood. This also it's good to do a full recap from the beginning, right? So why
Yeah.
we so focus on game currency, because we feel that it's a lifeblood for gaming. We feel it connects, indie gamers to big games, and if we can make something that's portable, we can really give good value to parents, to families, and to adults. Everyone's on a limited budget these days. We're all watching what we're spending. We don't
Right.
have as much money as we used to have for leisure. Things also are very, you know, yeah, we like things are recurring, right? Things have become everything's a subscription now. So it's not just you're buying something once. It's like you're buying something and you have to keep buying it all again. So we're trying to break that model and give people a game currency that meets them with what they need, and they can play for free. Right? We're not looking to make. You don't have to buy it, but then again, it can unlock value for people that want to spend money and invest in their gaming franchises, or have a regulated game currency as well. So we're looking to do that whole piece. And for me, as when I put on my banking hat, to me, I love game currency because we really need. People don't realize, yeah, Bitcoin's exciting, and all these cryptocurrencies and meme coins are so exciting. You know, people are becoming millionaires overnight, but
Right.
that's obviously just that's just luck and or whatever, or rug pulls and other stuff. But when you
Right.
look at
There's a lot to unpack
the
there.
lot, yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot there. Don't look and think you're gonna get wealthy in meme coins.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose your shirt on meme. Other people are gonna make money in meme coins. You're gonna lose your money. Like you're not the
Yeah.
smartest. Like when they
Right.
say, if you're playing poker and you don't know who's the smartest person and who's the dunce in the room, if you don't know whatever the term is, it's you, right? If you don't know who is who everyone's going to be taking money from, because professional poker players know, they look around, they know exactly who's the newbie. They can tell, right? It's the same thing with all these with meme coins. The professional meme coin traders are busy making money, and they're making millions, hundreds of millions of dollars,
Yeah.
and everyone else is losing. Um, but we need, but we need digital rails for Wall Street, and that's a quadrillion dollars of value, right? That's whatever value you think is in Bitcoin, Ethereum. Those are billions. That's not, but a quadrillion, that's a whole different number. You can Google that and see
Yeah.
what a quadrillion is.
It's big.
But that's the type of value that's in Wall Street, that's unlocked in regulated finance. And that's what we need to bring, from a digital perspective. So, Novosphere is gaming, but we're also much more than gaming as well. We are looking at ways to digitize the whole economy. Gaming is an important part of that.
So that's
Um,
kind of where you're starting.
where we're starting
Starting with
exactly, because we
gaming.
think, yeah,
Okay.
gaming is great for experiments. Gaming is great for so many things, and we're using gaming now. We're doing a lot of AI work, and what I'm doing is I'm actually building a massive multiplayer game live, and I'm recording it, and I'm sharing that to the community. So that's another fun
Oh,
thing that
cool.
we're doing.
Oh, cool. That's very cool. Yeah. So yeah, beyond the actual currency, you're actually building games.
Yes, exactly. Because the game unlocks a different type. You would not you couldn't monetize a massively multiplayer puzzle game before our game currency. You need this. This is unlocking new types of game experiences.
Oh, okay.
So we're building them out because we want to show the versatility of this game currency. Like we can do things that we cannot have done before, and that's what makes it
Interesting.
so much fun.
So you're creating a whole new way to monetize games or to create
Yeah,
game currency, and that's opening up whole new doors or whole new ideas around how to actually build games
exactly.
and
Because it's like,
infrastructure.
yeah, because when you're being innovative, it doesn't stop. You know, at the like you think of something that is innovative. let's you think of a tire that can make cars go faster, right? Now that unlocks other things, like maybe I can have buses that can go faster too. And maybe you can then say, oh, I'll have, if buses can go faster, then maybe I can use it in industry and have,
Sure.
there's so many, once you unlock, it's not just, it's a wheel, but a wheel can be used in so many different use cases in so many different contexts. So yeah, we tried to solve one problem and then we realized that we're actually solving so many more problems, and we can make the vision of gaming so much more of what it is today.
So tell me more about this. What you're building in front of your community,
Yeah.
like what?
So yeah, absolutely. So what we're doing is that it's called Stack the Pixels Tapestry. So our brand that we're using for the gaming is called Stack the Pixels. Um, and we have a few games out. One of them is called Stack the Pixels Daily Enigma. That's like a daily puzzle game, like the New York Times, became very popular in their games. It's funny now, more people go to the New York Times for their games than for the news. They
Is
became
that
a
right?
gaming. Yeah, New York
Oh,
Times
I didn't know that.
became a gaming company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in
Like
a
with the
way.
crosswords and all that,
Yeah,
and
exactly. The
yeah,
word Wordle, that's one of the
Wordle.
people didn't even realize that they were into gaming until they bought Wordle. That was the first thing, and then people now play Connections, and there's a lot of games that people play. These are daily
Interesting.
games. They take like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and people love it because it gives you that. People are scared of being stuck. People don't want to doom scroll like on TikTok, and some
Yeah.
games are just they suck you in and they just don't let go. And people are very mindful of their time, which is a good thing. So they want to play a game. They want to have something interesting to do, and then but they want to get back to work. They want to get back to taking care of their family. They want to, spend time with their kids. They don't want to get stuck playing games the whole night. So these are daily puzzle games became a very popular genre because of that very reason. So, but one thing they don't have is a visual. There's no real visual puzzles. And so we came up with, so under the Stack the Pixel brand, we have it's called Daily Enigma. It's a fun daily puzzle. It's literally can take you a minute to play, and it's just fun. It's just we're getting great
Minute.
feedback. So that's actually launching this week. So that's one game, and then the Stack the Pixel Tapestry. That's our massively multiplayer game, and that is being geared to brands and not-for-profits that want to build a community or want to give the community something like a fun experience to do. So think about it like this: like you have a community, like what do you do with it? Like you have some memes. You can have you can go onto Facebook and you can post articles and they can comment, right? But it's boring. Like where are the fun experiences that brands have for their community? And
Oh,
that's
interesting.
yeah. It's a we don't until someone thinks about something new, you don't realize it's been missing, right?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And
Why
we
aren't
have
we?
social media. We have social media, right? So Disney has their social media page. Where are their games? But yeah, not the individual single player games. Where are the games for the whole community to play in, right? Wouldn't that be fun if a community can play a game together,
I
and
mean,
you're
there's
playing
kind
with
of.
other fans of that
I
community?
mean, they have kind of games out there like mobile games and stuff where you can connect to Facebook
Yeah,
and
no,
kind of do it that way, but it's
that's
not
just to
in the.
spam. That's just to spam your friends, really. You know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's
That's
why
kind of it.
Facebook
Yeah.
shut it down because eventually it was just
Yeah.
like they're just
That didn't
spamming.
work out. That's
Yeah,
pretty much it. Yeah. It was
yeah,
like, oh,
pretty
do you want
much
me to
it.
just update my friends every day?
Candy Crush did a great. Candy Crush was great with that. They
Yeah.
had their yeah. If you wanted to play more, you had to get a life. To more lives, you had to basically spam your friends to give you a life. Remember
Right.
that?
Yeah.
At
Yep.
one point, everyone's doing it because you all are like, "Oh, give me a
Yeah.
life, give me a life." Eventually, Facebook shut that down. Um, but yeah, but
But
where's the fun experiences that we do virtually? Because obviously we're not in the same place. Like Disney's coming out with the new, you know, um, Avengers movie, right? Where's all the fans? We want to get together. We're excited about this. So what do the fans do? They look at the trailer and they micro examine every frame and they look and they talk
yeah.
about it online on Reddit. But there's a certain mind, there's a certain, you know, people that enjoy that. Other people just want to go to Disney. Their theme parks is people look at Disney and it's like, oh, their movies and their TV and everything, like that's where they make the money. No, they actually the biggest cash cow is their theme parks, the experience, and that's a
Right.
physical experience. What we're doing here is that we're building out the virtual experience, which doesn't exist. No one has that yet. So it's exciting. It's different, and yeah, we're making a lot of mistakes, obviously, because it's not. It's like, how do you make a virtual experience that's fun, right? But we're going to get there. We're learning a
So the
lot.
virtual experience is kind of like a playground of where you have a community and you'll have like
You play a
activities
game,
and things
exactly. Play a
and play
game,
games
yeah,
together
exactly.
and
And then you
just on
have
the
you have an
fly and have
objective. You have an objective, right? You have to have that goal. And so
right.
the initial vision that we have is called Stack the Pixels, and you're literally building a tapestry one pixel at a time. So think of it like a Candy Crush, but instead of when you're dragging, the candies and you're exploding and all that stuff, it disappears off the screen. But in
Right.
Stack the Pixels, you're actually building a tapestry. So as you're tapping, you're actually building something. You're making something,
Like a
and and that,
what is a
that
tapestry?
tapestry
Just
is just a
like
picture. It's a picture, or
a picture. You're
eventually be a
building a
video.
picture. You're
Yeah,
playing a
exactly.
game and it's turning
It's
into
a
a
picture, and
picture.
that picture could be a trailer. It could be a movie trailer. It could be people. It could be pictures. If the brand is Nike, it could be pictures of different sneakers. It could be athletes that are wearing Nike apparel. It could be just people from the community who are
Okay, so you
Nike
play
fans.
this. So you can play this game, and to find out what the new trailer to see the new trailer, the community has to come together and play this game.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And then
is
stack all
that
the
kind of what I'm
pixels. Yeah, for the trailer. Exactly. And
to
then
actually
when
see
you
it? Yeah.
do you want to
Huh.
see the trailer, no problem. You have 2 days, whatever it is, right? Give them a deadline. But the sooner you stack the pixels, the sooner you can see we can watch a trailer. And
Right. You
only
can
the
just watch it earlier.
community, it'll be locked to the community. Of course, people are going to bootleg it, but the point is that it won't be direct, right? It'll be,
Right.
if you want to watch and get the first experience, you have to be in that community and you have to watch it. And then
People
you
love to
get
be
to see it
first
first.
online.
People have to be first.
Yeah.
And not only that, you can give them prizes too. You can, instead of just make it a raffle and it's random, right? You can say, the top 10 players. So it's a collaborative and it's competitive because now they actually have the competition. I want to stack more pixels because I want to be in. I want to win those. I want to go to the red carpet movie premiere event
Right.
because
Right.
I want to be there, right? Because I'm a fan. So, and the cost for the brand is so little, but the media exposure and the point is that brings other people together because you bring in, you want to stack pixels with your friends, your family, everyone. It's a type of thing. It's like fireworks. It's like, oh, what's the enjoyment of fireworks? Is that seeing it alone is boring. Like you want to see with, oh wow, look at that, look, oh wow,
Right.
So you want to have that experience. You want to be together. Like we missed like one of the things like streaming killed is the whole concept of much watch TV and like we used to watch Seinfeld and you know every day after the episode, everyone would go to the office and have that water cooler moment. Like, could you believe like what happened in that
What
episode?
George did? Yeah,
Exactly. It's
they're
like
ridiculous.
crazy, ridiculous. And you had that whole conversation, but and that was social, that's community bonding. It's like
Yeah.
everyone, all the Seinfeld fans and everyone who was, gave you something to talk about. We don't have that anymore. We lost those, because streaming is like you do everything on your own whenever you want. But a game can bring us back to a massively multiplayer game that's an experience can bring us back together again and give us those communal experiences that are so meaningful.
Yeah, well, I mean, right. It
Yeah,
would stop us from like scrolling and jumping from app to app and figure out
yeah.
we like want to go there because right, you build
You
this
want to be
community
there. I want to
and
be
you,
there
yeah,
exactly, and especially when you look at it from a not-for-profit perspective, and you're doing it for a cause. Now there's
mm,
an emotional thing. It's like, yeah, I was there. I was there when we stacked, when we made the million by million tapestry, like million pixels by million, like I was part of it. I helped
Yeah.
build that tapestry, you know, and then it could be used as a fundraiser. It could be used as so many different things.
Right.
So
Hmm.
these are the things that we're building out. These collaborative, and what I'm doing is that, so we were building this game on mobile, and we were running into some technical difficulties there because it was a very ambitious goal, and technically it was hard to build out a massively multiplayer game for millions of players. So I said, you know what, let me take a step back. I'm going to use AI now, and I'm going to make a browser base to start. We eventually will go back to mobile because mobile is a huge market. But
Yeah.
for the moment, I want to go back to, and I'm going to rebuild this game using AI and show for people that are interested in AI, like the AI is changing everything. People don't realize how much of a huge change it's going to have from a dev perspective. So anyone who's a developer or knows a developer, it's something. If you want to, yeah, okay, we have to talk more. But basically, things are changing in a way. Our roles are changing because I'm a developer as well. Our roles are changing, and we aren't going to be writing code anymore. We're going to be telling the AI what system we want to build, and then we have to validate it. And our roles are changing. I'm calling it the death of the developer, but the truth is, it's really a rebirth. It's really,
Yeah.
our
We're just
roles are going to be
evolving.
so much different. And already speaking to colleges and college professors within the, you know, within the computer science field, and they're agreeing with me. So I have articles and videos that have been publishing, and they're like, wow, like you're saying what what we've been thinking, and
Yeah.
how the whole industry has to shift over and teach a new type of skill. But here's the cool thing: it's not just for software and computer science; it's for every industry, whether it's medicine, law, it's everything. It's going to be more like us giving requirements to the AI and then validating what the AI did correctly. So everything is going to, we will have to be the experts in a certain sense to validate what the AI is doing
Well, you got to
properly.
validate it for sure. You just can't unleash it.
Yeah.
I mean, I use Cursor for programming already and stuff, but which has AI built into its AI editor. Um, and it's not perfect. You can't just say, "Hey, go build this thing."
No.
You gotta go through and validate it, and then question it. Like, why did you just delete all that code? What did you just do? Why did you? And question it, and then it'll apologize and say, "I'm sorry, I went a little too far." And then, but that's the but
No,
it is
that's it. But
it's
we've come so far in a year or so. A
yeah
year ago, it was basically just doing autocompletes, and
yeah
you would say, "Oh, write this code for me," and then it would, write a function here. Now it's writing full systems.
yep.
People are writing games, like fight simulator type games, completely through it. Like they claim they haven't written even a single line of code. And in my experience, it has become immense. Like the what you see, it's speeding up, right? So
Yeah.
it's going to get
Oh, it's
better
just
and faster and
I'm
smarter.
in web development where websites and plugins and that type of work. But where it's saving us is just through it helps us troubleshoot. It helps. The other day I saw something ridiculous. It was like I didn't even understand what it was doing. I'm a little bit new to Cursor because I was using an extension with VS Code for a while and whatever. But I was like just in the code. I was like, I'm gonna just do this myself. There was like, I don't know, 10 sections in this code, and I just needed to edit something similar in each section. It was like just changing the path or
Right,
something.
right.
And so I start doing it. So I did the first one, and then next thing I know, I'm like, what is this? And it gave me like a prompt to basically tab, and it just understood. It figured out what I was doing and allowed me to just tab through the rest. I'm like, wait, how did it know that? Like, how
Right,
did it figure it
right,
out?
right.
And so even intuitively, like it's not even auto complete and stuff anymore. It's like intuitively watching you and say, hey, I can help him. let me just. It's
Yeah,
incredible,
it's
and
incredible. Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
yeah,
and it's funny because even my kids are in college and high school, and they're like the schools are so afraid of AI, and they're trying to build guardrails against the students using AI, and I'm like, no, you should be
yeah,
encouraging them to use
right,
it, and you should be using it as well, and you should be figuring out how to use it properly. In fact, give them an assignment that is 4 times as difficult that you would have given a kids
right,
those age, assignments before, and then make them validate it.
right, right,
That's
exactly,
what
yeah,
AI is going to be. It's all about the validation, and you have to ask it the right information, or you still have to figure out, which AI to use, and there's still so much that is necessary. But we are sharing our journey, and we're inviting brands and not for profits to build with us because we feel that they will benefit most from this type of game. This game will, and this is the Pong, right? Stack the Pixels is the Pong, and we are we um, our whole goal is to work with other game publishers. So we're not looking
yeah,
to be, we're building the first games because someone has to, right? No one else is going to
right,
build them because no one
right,
else has that imagination because it's a new type of game currency. But we are building it, but we are inviting other game publishers to come join, build us with us, and the brands to come because we want to build a Disneyland of experiences that brands can use, like not just Disney, right? So, Nike can have their own virtual theme park, it's their own games where millions of people can play together in Nike Land, right? Or virtually, but not
yeah,
just single player experiences, because that's boring already. No, I'm not saying we all need to relax on our own time. That's fun, but we want to also experience other people there, right? We want to
mhm,
have that sense of social connectedness to other people that if we love a particular brand, if we're passionate about a cause, we want to be next to those people. We want to feel we're not alone in that cause.
yeah,
And we don't want to be on Twitter or X where everyone is dissing each other and being negative and
right.
right? We want to be in a positive place and a positive
Promote
experience.
positivity. I love it. I love it. So if somebody wants to get involved with what you're doing, like, where do they find you? Where are you doing this development? Like, how can they reach out to you and stuff?
Absolutely. So the easiest place to start is stackthepixels.com. That's our gaming brand. That's the first place to start. I am also active on LinkedIn. You can find my articles there as well. So that's under Novospir. So Novospir is a parent company. We actually didn't build out our Novospir website yet. That's something I have to do. That's on a to-do
Hey, I know
list.
somebody that builds websites over here. I'm just kidding.
Okay, we have to talk. So yeah, we have to build out the Novosphere website, but there's a placeholder there. But yeah, LinkedIn is definitely LinkedIn.com/Novosphere, whatever LinkedIn does.
Yeah.
But if you go to our website stackthepixels.com, you will see there's a link there for Tapestry. You can go there, and that links to the articles. There's also you can even play the game is live. It's not much fun yet because we are building it in public, and when you're starting off, right, we're just basics. We're starting off at the beginning, but it
Mhm.
works. The game works, and we
Cool.
invite people to check it out and give us feedback,
Very good.
and to get aligned because the nice thing about building in public and building with the brands, with which is our effectively our customer for this game, is that we're building it with their requirements. So if you're a brand or not for profit, it's like you'll be building it with us. And there is monetization fee as well. You will make money on this, not like Facebook and other social networks where you lose money, right? There's a cost factor. Here, this is gaming. You will make money. We will be doing revenue sharing with you. So there's definitely an upside there as well, a long-term benefit. So yeah, it's definitely makes sense to get involved early, and this way you also get the benefit of being the first one to build the biggest tapestry, because we know it's like the early birds for TikTok and Facebook and all these things built massive social presence, and those are still dominant, right? If you're the first one, you become dominant in that new space. So definitely a benefit for anyone that wants to take the leap with us into the unknown and just have a really fun time doing it.
Exciting stuff. I'm excited to check out your stuff myself and see what you guys are all doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a guy that loves games, I would really like it if you just turn the whole world into one big game.
Well,
everywhere you go.
That's what's going to happen, by the way, with AI. So as soon as right now we're looking to get AGI, that's artificial general intelligence. Then there's something called ASI, artificial superintelligence, which basically AI is smarter than humans, which in some things it already is smarter than humans, but it needs to be smarter in a general sense. And once we get to a certain point, this is obviously the AI, utopia. Some people, look at it as as that the AIs could take over and kill out humans and blah, blah, blah. So there's risk there, which they're trying to, I'm not saying there's no risk for these things, there's a lot of risk, but assuming we surmount those risks, right, and we can align with the AIs, with the super intelligent AI, then in theory, our world will become one big playground because there won't be any need for work, right, anymore, right? Life will be a game, right? Life will be one game after the next. So that's why.
I never thought about it that way. Like you're going to have super intelligence would be so smart. They'll realize that us humans just need to be, we just want to play games.
Exactly. There's no need to do work anymore. Because AI is doing the work for us, right? AI is robots, machines, and why would AI want a human to manage something when a super intelligent AI is not just a little bit smarter, is millions, trillions as smart as a human. It's like what AI can do in a second, take a million years for a human to do. You don't need humans in the mix, right? Now, so that at that point, it just becomes basically life is a game because
gaming utopia.
Yeah, well,
beautiful.
In theory, that's I don't know how quickly this is going to happen, but
I love it. Yeah. It feels like a book or something, so like a novel or something.
There are people that have written books on this.
The world becomes one big game.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Well, it's been really a real pleasure. Thanks for sharing your story. Thanks for sharing your ideas and this project with us. It's amazing. Until next time. Thanks, Yaakov.
Thanks so much, Matt. It's been a real pleasure. I really feel that that we had a great conversation. So thank you so much.
Yeah, real good. All right.
Okay, take care. Okay, bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Builders Podcast. One more quick note about our sponsors. At Unified Web Design, we're passionate about doing better together, partnering with agencies and businesses to deliver exceptional web design, development, and ongoing support. And Unified Plugins offers tools to take your WordPress projects to the next level, helping you build beautiful websites, enhance functionality, and drive more conversions. If you haven't already, subscribe or follow to stay updated on future episodes. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, sharing it with somebody who might benefit helps us grow this amazing community. Until next time, keep building with intention and creativity.